4 games. And Lindor blasts one to deep right field. Back goes Stowers at the wall. It's out of here. Francisco Lindor.
Jose hammers one deep to left field. Back is Hayward. He's out of room. It's out of here. And the Guardians will play from in front. Acuna to right field. And deep. And gone. Ronald Acuna Jr. with a laser.
Hey, you are now listening to and watching the Baseball Aficionado podcast. Happy to be back with you guys once more. And this is a special episode. But before I get to it, I want to invite everybody to like, share, comment if you are watching on YouTube. And of course, everywhere you get your podcasts, the audio version is always available. Spotify, Apple, the whole thing. And so on a pre-World Baseball Classic edition of the Baseball Aficionado, as I fix my chair, get myself in gear. So I've done several episodes already talking about the World Baseball Classic, but on this episode, I will be giving my official predictions. I've given little hints here and there. I've given takes. I've given analysis. I've done some special guests, collaboration stuff. I've dropped little hints here and there. I've even flip-flopped on a couple different things, scenarios, analyzed rosters, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, the Classic starts next week, and I have to give official predictions. And on this episode, I will give my official predictions and give a little brief overview over some of the pools and all that good stuff. So without further ado, I want to make sure I bring this up because it's very important. Make sure you guys check out my official merch line, Baseball Aficionado, at bbaficionado.com. We got tees, we got hats, we got hoodies, Latino baseball inspired merch. I mean, we got a lot of great stuff. We use the best quality materials possible with very competitive pricing. So check it out, bbaficionado.com. Subscribe to the email list and you get 10% off your first purchase. Check it out, bbaficionado.com. And of course, the Baseball Aficionado, you can find me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube, Facebook, the whole thing. Connect with us and we definitely get it going. So without further ado, I'm going to break down each bracket. I mean, I'm not going to go in depth on every roster and every team and go, this and, I'm not going to do all that because there's no time for that, right? Obviously, people want to get to the nitty gritty. People want to get to what they came here for, right? Which is who the Santos think is going to advance. Who the Santos think, I'm speaking in third person, but who do I think is going to do the most damage? Who's going to win the WBC? I'm going to tell you. Let's start with Pool A. So I'm going to get started with Pool A, right? That's wrong. Here we go. All right. Pool A. Hopefully nobody was paying attention when I put up the wrong slide. So here it is, right? Let's get right into it. Pool A is going to go like this, okay? We have in Group A, let's go into real quick. You see the winners that I posted up there. But let's go right into a brief synopsis, right, of how I think is going to play out. So Pool A is going to be the most competitive pool of all the pools. I think a lot of people are saying, that, it's a very weak pool and all that. And which on paper, yes, it looks like it's weak compared to the other ones. But when you think about it, it's what I call the parity pool, right? So in Pool A, you have Puerto Rico, Cuba, Canada, Panama, and Colombia. Those are the 5 teams that make up this pool. And while a lot of people will say you could make the argument that any one of these teams could win the pool, I don't know about that. I have to say Puerto Rico will win the Pool A. Puerto Rico should be the favorite to win Pool A. And the reason for this is very simple. Puerto Rico, besides the fact that they're playing at home, besides the intangibles of Puerto Rico, which is Puerto Rico always comes to play. whether they have all the stars, they don't have the stars, missing stars, whatever. And a real tangible thing here, which is what I've been saying for a while, and I'm going to continue to say it. Puerto Rico is taking the best pitching staff it has ever taken to a World Baseball Classic, and it's not even debatable. Puerto Rico is taking the best pitching staff it has ever taken to a World Baseball Classic, and it's not even debatable. And I think when you look at the panorama, right? When you look at when you take a look at everything, you have Cuba, who a lot of people don't know what to expect from Cuba. They're missing a ton of guys. They're missing the majority of their great talent, whether for politics or otherwise, right? Cuba has a decent pitching staff. And I think, I have people who, especially shout out to my boy Yusuf Diaz, who's one of my best friends in the whole world. He says that Cuba will not win a game. I find that hard to believe. Like, there's no way. I don't care who you put out there. Cuba's not going to go winless. So, no, Cuba's not going to go 0-4. Cuba may win a game or so, game or two, maybe even 3, for all we know, right? I think this is going to come down to Puerto Rico and Cuba. When you look, Puerto Rico and Canada. My mistake. Puerto Rico and Canada have the best talent in this pool, and I think those are the two who will come out of this. Puerto Rico will win the pool. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say I'm biased. I'm going to show you I'm not biased. Puerto Rico has the best pitching it has ever had in a classic. When you look at the young Elmer Rodriguez, who's one of the top pitching prospects of the Yankees organization, is a tremendous pitcher. He's ready, 22 years old. The young Red Sox left-hander who's 6'7", can throw 99 miles per hour in Eduardo Rodriguez, who is starting, Eduardo Rivera, who will be there, the third or fourth starter, right, for Team Puerto Rico. He's ready, 22 years old. Nasty stuff. Seth Lugo, a proven ace, right? A proven starter who's pitched for Team Puerto Rico before. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to start off everything, right? And then, of course, you look at these arms that they have, these young arms. Oh, and of course, you have Jose de Leon, who pitched the perfect game, the first perfect game in World Baseball Classic history last time, who's not afraid of the moment, has a great arm, has balls of steel. This guy's going to be ready. So I feel strongly that Puerto Rico's pitching is going to carry it in the first round, okay? And Puerto Rico will win the pool. Are you afraid of Canada? Canada has the Naylor brothers. They're going to have the Big Maple, right, who hasn't been in the major leagues in a couple years, Paxton. They have Jameson Taillon. These guys don't scare you. They're going to hit a little bit, and the pitching is going to be good enough. They have Otto Lopez, who's a nice player. Abraham Toro, who's a nice young player. Not young player, nice veteran player. Canada's not scary, but they're going to be good enough to come out this pool, which I think they'll be the runner-up. So I got Puerto Rico with their top-notch pitching will carry it. Puerto Rico will only go as far as their offense with that pitching can take it. And the reason I say that is because I think the one cause for concern for Team Puerto Rico is going to be its offense. Where are they going to get runs? That's going to be the major concern. Where can Puerto Rico get runs? If Puerto Rico scores enough runs with that pitching they have and that deadly bullpen, we're talking about guys like Jorge Lopez out of the bullpen, who he's a crazy dude, but he's got a great arm. We're talking about Fernando Cruz. We're talking about Edwin Diaz. We're talking about Jose Espada, who these are dangerous arms out of the pen. Very good arms. We're talking about really sneaky good arms out of the bullpen, plus their starters. The thing is going to be how much offense can Team Puerto Rico get? Can Elio Ramos carry them? Can Nolan Arenado carry them? What are they going to get from shortstop? Is it going to be Edwin Arroyo taking that next big step, who was once a young prospect, 22-year-old from the Reds organization? Shortstop, switch hitter, power, speed, athleticism, the whole thing. What can he bring, right? Luis Vasquez, another young guy who can handle the bat, elite glove at shortstop. Darryl Hernandez, a young player at shortstop, athletic, good bat. What can Carlos Cortez give them? Carlos Cortez is a guy who's hit his whole life, played in college, is a real good young youngish, not super young, left-handed bat. What does MJ Melendez have left? They're catching. Team Puerto Rico's catching is gonna really carry it. Can with its veteran leadership in Christian Vasquez and Martin Maldonado working with that pitching staff, the catching for Team Puerto Rico has always been above and beyond, and which is always compensated for the lack of having big names, right? Or big time pitching. Well, Puerto Rico this time has not necessarily all in name value, but in talent value, plus the veteran leadership behind the plate should be good enough. But the major key is going to be how many runs can they score? And we're going to see that. We need to see, can Puerto Rico score enough runs? And I think they will, especially at home. They're going to be motivated. Puerto Rico tends to do better when they don't have as much expectations. And I think for all that, and plus their pitching, as I mentioned, they will win the Pool A, and the runner-up will be Canada. Cuba will be decent. I think Colombia will be decent as well. I thought Colombia could have been a big surprise, but with some of their injuries or people that have come out of their roster, obviously with Colombia, there's a couple. They're missing some guys now too. Last minute, I don't like their chances as much now. Panama, I don't like that team very much. I think that Puerto Rico and Canada will come out of that bracket. So now let's go into the next pool, which is Pool B. Let's go into Pool B. Hold on a second. Gotta look to see something. Yo no veo. Hold on. Pool B. Where is Pool B? Okay, here we go. Okay. So, Pool B. USA will win Pool B. I don't see them not winning Pool B. When you look at USA, they are absolutely loaded. When you have a Bobby Witt, you have Aaron Judge, you have Kyle Raleigh, you have Byron Buxton. They're going to hit a lot, but the biggest key this year is they're going to have, especially in pool play, they are going to have those aces pitching at the top of the rotation in Paul Skeens and obviously Tariq Skubal. Now, we don't know how long they're going to be available for the duration of the tournament. That could be a little dicey. But for what we know, those top-rate arms that are available for Team USA, at least the first go-round, which is pool play, is going to be huge. And so I think that's going to help Team USA to come out and really deliver the way we expect it to. And Team USA is going to come out to an impressive start. I actually think they're going to avenge themselves from last year's loss to Mexico. They lost the game to Mexico. They will get their revenge on Mexico this time around. Mexico will finish second. They will finish runner-up. I've read a lot of things about Italy. Italy has a nice little team. They don't have enough pitching to compete at this level. I don't love Mexico's pitching either, but I do feel that Mexico's pitching is infinitely better than Italy's pitching. And I think for that reason, Italy will not, classify. Italy's usually a pain in the butt in these tournaments. So I think they'll fight, but they don't have enough pitching to compete at that next level where Mexico and the United States are at that next level. So I just think that this one is very obvious, cut and dry. Mexico doesn't have the pitching that I would like for them to have to go with that hitting. Their pitching is going to be up and down. I think, they have some pitching, especially, they have some guys there, but it's not shutdown pitching that you really want. But I feel like their bats, when you look at Mexico, you look at those guys that they have like a Jaren Duran and Randy Arozarena and, Jonathan Aranda and Alejandro Kirk, they're going to put up runs. They're going to score runs. And, of course, you have Benjamin Hill, who is not to be underestimated as a manager. Benjamin Hill is one of those guys who gets the very most out of everything he touches. And so for those reasons, Mexico's going to be tough. They're going to be there, and they're going to go toe-to-toe with Team USA in that Pool B. So, as I mentioned, the Pool B winner will be United States. The runner-up in Pool B will be Mexico. USA and Mexico advancing out of Pool B. Let's go over to Pool C. Okay. Pool C. This one is super cut and dry. I mean, I don't know a single person who doesn't have Japan coming out of this bracket, out of this pool, right? Um, I don't know a single person who doesn't have them. I mean, they are a heavy favorite, the defending champions. We know who they have. We know the talent they have. We know that Japan gets up for moments like this. Japan lives for the World Baseball Classic and international play. They have a distinct advantage in that they've played together before. A lot of these guys, at least a good amount of these guys, they practice together. They have an advantage, and so that advantage will manifest itself. But I think the surprise for some people, for some other people, will be, as I'm looking up some notes here, will be South Korea finishing as the runner-up. I do not believe, for the life of me, that Australia will repeat its performance from last year. I don't see that. I don't see that was a miraculous um, finish last year, and so for that reason, I do not think that they can repeat it. I think Korea is due for a bounce back. Korea, not too long ago was a baseball powerhouse. Korea used to do really well in international competition. They've seemed to fall off in the past years, but they have bats. And so I think that, they're going to be back. They're going to have something to play for. They got a lot of guys from KBO there that can swing the bat, especially in that atmosphere. They're back in the Tokyo Dome. I think Korea is going to have something to say when it's all said and done. Korea will finish out of Pool C as the runner-up. Obviously, Pool C winner will be Japan. Japan's going to come out guns blazing. I just think it is what it is. But to me, the runner-up is not Australia. Runner-up will be South Korea. So the winner of Pool C will be Japan. The runner-up in Pool C will be South Korea. That's how I got it. That's how it's going to play out. So that's what it is. Now let's go to the fun one, which I call the fun one because this is the one with the big Latino powerhouses. Okay, Pool D. This is the most highly spoken about pool of all the pools, right? This is the one that everybody's talking about. This is the big boy pool, right? Obviously, because you have the two powers in República Dominicana and Venezuela. República Dominicana is going to go out for blood. They are out for blood. They are going to come out and they are going to dominate pool play. They will win this pool. And I would not be surprised if the DR wins this pool handily. I would not be surprised. Why do I say that? Because I don't like Venezuela's pitching. Venezuela has had a lot of major losses to the pitching staff. When we're talking about the loss of Pablo Lopez, Germán Marquez, who else? Jose Alvarado, Jesus Luzardo will not play in pool play. I mean, they've lost some guys. They've lost some big time arms, and I just don't think they have the quality to replace those arms. But because of their offense, when you look at Venezuela's prolific offense, Luis Arraez, Jackson Chorio, Salvador Perez, Eugenio Suarez, you're looking at a team. I mean, obviously Ronald Acuna Jr. You're looking at an absolute squad. Andres Jimenez. They have contact. They have speed. They have power. They have different ways to beat you offensively. And for that reason, and that reason alone, Venezuela will hit their way out of Pool D, and they will at least be the runner-up. So that's the way I have it. Now, Pool D winner will be República Dominicana. They have too much firepower. They have too much offense. I mean, when you look at it, and their pitching is just ridiculous. You're looking at Christopher Sanchez. You're looking at, Sandy Alcantara at the top of the staff, obviously. and then with their bats, ni hablar. You have Juan Soto, Julio Rodriguez, um, you know, all those guys. Austin Wells can even swing the bat. Fernando Tatis Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You got so many guys. Jeremy Pena. You got so much offense on this team. They're more balanced than Venezuela is as far as the pitching, bullpen, and offense. And for that reason, they will definitely come out forget it. They will come out on fire and they will dominate pool play. Now, the one thing I want to say, here's the caveat, and I want to mention this. In Pool D, which Pool D, I just want to get into this real quick. Pool D, which has Venezuela, República Dominicana, Netherlands, Israel, and Nicaragua. I want to make a point to bring up the point that the Netherlands may be a pain in the ass in this tournament. I think now I don't feel like they're going to advance out of Pool D. I feel like the Netherlands could be a pain in the ass, and I'm predicting this. The Netherlands is going to beat Dominican Republic or Venezuela. They're going to beat one of those two. No doubt about it. They're going to beat one of them in one of these games. They're going to beat them. Netherlands is not going to go home without winning a game or two. I definitely, I don't think they have enough pitching to the Netherlands, that is. I don't think the Netherlands has enough pitching to come out of the pool because there's just too much offense with Venezuela and Dominican Republic. But I do feel that because the way they play the game, so fundamentally sound, they have offense, they can defend pretty well. I think they're going to be a pesky team, but at the end of the day, and I think also they will beat either DR or Venezuela, not both. They'll beat one or the other in an upset. There'll be an upset in one of these games. But I do think that the cream will rise to the top, and it'll be República Dominicana, the winner, and the runner-up will be Venezuela, just like everybody believes it will be, right? That's kind of where I'm at on that. Now, this is where it gets interesting, right? This is where it gets real interesting. All right. So I filled out a bracket based on the predictions. And so I will break it down. I'm going to break down the bracket and then I'm going to show it. So what I'll do is I'll break down the bracket, and then for everybody watching on YouTube and listening, and then if you're watching on YouTube, I'm gonna share the screen so you can see what was my thinking in the bracket or whatever, right? So let's see. So hold on, I'm trying to figure something out. Let me see. Okay, here we go. So remember, in Pool A, I had Puerto Rico and Canada coming out of Pool A, right? So now we got, in the next matchup, I will have Canada versus the U.S. and from Canada versus the U.S. And then the other matchup will be Mexico versus Puerto Rico. So Canada versus the U.S. The U.S. is going to smoke Canada. I don't even think it's close. They're going to destroy them. Canada doesn't have enough pitching to hold down or to stop the U.S. And for that reason, I am going to say that for that reason, I got the U.S. defeating Canada in the quarterfinals. U.S. over Canada. In the other quarterfinals matchup, I have Puerto Rico, who won Group A, against Mexico, who was the runner-up in Pool B, right? Mexico versus Puerto Rico. It's going to be a highly contested matchup. Mexico can hit. Puerto Rico can pitch. I think in this spot, Puerto Rico exacts revenge from last year. Puerto Rico advances to the semifinals. That's right. Puerto Rico will defeat Mexico in the quarterfinal. They will advance to the semi. So out of that quarterfinal side, the U.S. we got the U.S. defeating Canada, and we got Puerto Rico defeating Mexico. That's the way it's gonna go down. So those are those two teams. Now on the other side, from Pool C, we have the runner-up South Korea taking on the heavily favored República Dominicana in the quarterfinals. We have South Korea versus República Dominicana, and there's going to be another mismatch of a game. República Dominicana is going to beat them like a drum. They're going to destroy them. Korea does not have enough talent to compete with DR at that level, and I think this is where the fun stops for Korea. República Dominicana defeats Korea. In the next matchup, we have the heavily favored Japan versus Venezuela, which was the runner-up from Pool D. So the winner of Pool C, Japan, against the runner-up of Pool D, Venezuela. Venezuela will give Japan a nice matchup, but they do not have enough pitching, and Japan will find a way to finish them in a tight matchup. But I do feel that Japan will come out on top. And now I'm going to present the semifinals, which is what I really want to show. Okay, let's go with the semifinals. Hold on a second. I'm gonna present the semifinal. I'm gonna show my bracket now. I want to show the bracket. So here we go. This is what it is right now. Hopefully it zooms in big enough. If not, I apologize. I'm kind of like a novice with some of this. All right. Ya está. Right there. There goes my bracket. Semifinal matchup 1. Puerto Rico versus... Hold on a second. Did I mess something up here? I might have messed something up. Did I mess something up? Crap. You know what? I might have messed something up with this bracket. I apologize. Hold on a second. Okay, so the way the semifinals works is the way it would work is the hot you'll be reseeded, right? Out of the 4 winners, the highest seed takes on the lowest seed. So I think Puerto Rico would take on the United States. Puerto Rico would take on the United States, and Dominican Republic would take on Japan in the semifinal matchups. Then in that matchup, I got United States against Puerto Rico. The United States will defeat Puerto Rico and beat them badly. I don't see on any planet where Puerto Rico can go toe-to-toe with the United States. I just think they got too much pitching. They got too much hitting. And I think Puerto Rico's hitting will fall short. And in that case, Puerto Rico will have come off of a decent run, a good run, but their Cinderella trip stops there. And the United States will bludgeon Puerto Rico in the semifinal. And in the second semifinal game, this will be the most fun matchup we have seen in a World Baseball Classic. The Japan versus Dominican Republic. And in this matchup, it's going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But it's going to be, this is going to be one of those, I can see like a 3-2 game, a 2-1 game, maybe even like a 5-4, something like that, 1-run game. This one is going to be like an extra inning extravaganza, and Japan will just pull off the game in a highly contested matchup where it will knock off the DR in the semifinal. So Puerto Rico and DR will both lose in the semifinals. And in the championship, we have a rematch of Japan versus USA. I know, very anticlimactic, but that's what I think is going to happen. And eventually, the United States of America will be crowned the 2026 World Baseball Classic champion once again, as it defeats Team Japan in a close but well-fought game, and in a game that the United States reclaims dominance and supremacy. And that's the way it's going to go down. And that's how I believe it's going to end. So I have Team USA defeating Team Japan once again in another final. And in the semifinals, I had Puerto Rico versus the United States, Dominican Republic versus Japan, and Japan and the US going at it once more in a rematch. But the United States will unseat Japan to reclaim its throne as the kings of the world in baseball. Oh, by the way, I want to explain the format real quick. I'm going to show the screen again. Hold on. Let me share my screen again because I want to explain the format because this may be a little confusing. So the way the format works is like this, right? Let me explain. Let me see. You guys can see my cursor if you're watching. So in the quarterfinals, the way it would have worked was USA was the pool winner versus the other pool runner-up. Pool winner versus other pool runner-up with Mexico and Puerto Rico, right? So the way it would have worked is when you get to the semifinal, it reseeds. So for example, right? If USA beats, the way I have it is I think USA is going to go in as the top seed. Like I think they're going to be so dominant that they will be the top seed. And so in the semifinal, you are reseeded. Right? You are reseeded based on results. So I think they're just going to be so hot. They're going to outscore everybody. I know it goes by, I think it's like run differential and things like that. So they will go in so hot that they will be the number 1 seed, right? Puerto Rico will be like the number 4 seed out of the 4. So Puerto Rico will take on the number 1 seed USA, if that makes sense, right? And then number 2 plays against number 3. So DR will be the number 2 seed in this semifinal matchup. I'm sorry, Japan will be number 2 seed, and it will take on DR number 3 seed. So I think that's the way I have it in that format, because that's the way it goes. When you're in the semifinal, it's reseeded 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. 1 takes on 4, 2 takes on 3. That is the semifinal matchup. So I hope that made sense the way I explained that or whatever. Hopefully it makes sense. Anyway, you guys could always just give me a shout on social media, Instagram or whatever, TikTok, and let me know if this makes any sense. But anyway, I hope that made a little sense. So if when you're looking at it strictly on results, like Japan versus USA, is that anticlimactic, I guess, for people who don't want to see that same matchup, I guess. I feel like that's the way it's going to play out. That's just the way I feel, honestly. That's just, I think DR is going to have a really good showing. It's just going to be a disappointment if they don't win. And I think DR is going to have such a good showing in comparison to other times, but I just feel like they're going to fall short because Japan and USA are just so loaded this time around. That's my honest opinion. And look, they could still win. I'm not saying they can't. They're just as good as anyone. I just think they'll fall short again. I just feel like that's kind of like what we're looking at here. When it comes to this whole situation. But I don't know. Let me know, guys. What do you think? What would your predictions be? Who's going to win this thing? Is it going to be USA or Japan ultimately? Or is this the year that DR comes out on top and again and gets that, recaptures that 2013 glory of that undefeated run? I mean, cualquier cosa puede pasar, like it's a short tournament. I think I just thought it was real fun to kind of give a little brief insight. I mean, I could do a whole 1.5 hour show about this, but I wanted to keep it very simple, very brief, to the point, that whole thing. I just feel like it just makes more sense like that. But anyway, guys, follow me on the socials, The Baseball Aficionado, Instagram, TikTok, what is it? Threads. Threads sucks, by the way. Threads is so boring. It's like a Temu version of X, but whatever. It's so boring. I don't understand the appeal of Threads, to be honest with you. I don't. It's so boring in there. But I have it because I have to, right? I'm usually on Insta. That's usually where you can find me. YouTube, of course. Facebook, The Baseball Aficionado. And of course, shop the merch. Check out the merch. I'm wearing this hoodie, this Santos hoodie. I designed this hoodie right here. Like, designed, created, conceptually made by yours truly. Support the brand. Check it out, bbAficionado.com, bbAficionado.com, bbAficionado.com. You can see the wait. Okay, there he is. You see? Swagman hat right here behind. See this right here? This is made with premium materials right here. You see this? Look at this. Look at this right here. Mira qué linda está la gorra esta. Mira. Look. It's a beautiful hat. As a matter of fact, let me share. I'm going to share something real quick before I go. I want to share. Let me take a look and see. I'm going to share a couple things, some new releases I got at bbAficionado.com, which is, it's nice in there. It's a real nice place to go. Oh my God. I'm gonna check it out right. Let's check it out right now. Check it out. I'm gonna go to my website so you can see. You can see that we're not playing around. Okay. Watch this. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's do it right. All right. Check it out. Right here, you get 10% off your first purchase. Look at this right here. Mira qué belleza. Check this out. We got all kinds of cool things here, where culture meets game, a lot of the releases. You can see. As a matter of fact, let me show you the latest right now, what we got. Real quick. We got a lot of cool things. So check it out. Look, we have tees that are inspired by the World Baseball Classic. We got Panama, we got Nicaragua, we got Colombia, Mexico, República Dominicana, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Cuba. Imagínate, un montón de cosas buenas. Así que check it out. Definitely appreciate it. Appreciate the support and the whole thing. And as always, please, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like, comment, subscribe, the whole thing. And as always, live life as if you're in a 3-2. Wait, sorry. I said it. Yeah, live life as if you're in a 3-2 count. Till next time.